Torture, as defined by the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, is the infliction of intense pain, as from burning, crushing, or wounding, to punish, coerce, or afford sadistic pleasure. Often, we hear people argue upon the reasoning behind the use of torture, interrogation, and other enhanced punishments as a way to extract information, and whether or not it can ever be justified. This debate has only gotten more intense in the past 2 decades following the events of 9/11. The United States, as well as many other countries, have employed the use of what they refer to as enhanced interrogation to force prisoners to give up information regarding terrorist whereabouts or other intelligence. This practice is hotly contested, with former President Barack Obama attempting to close Guantanamo Bay, a U.S. detention center that is notorious for its use of torture on the prisoners there. This use of torture is one of just countless examples in history in which it has been exercised, whether to achieve a goal or for some other purpose. The ancient Persians cut out the tongues of their prisoners of war, the Romans used it as a form of interrogation, and the Nazis tortured millions of Jews, prisoners of war, and other undesirables. Many agreements upon war crimes, crimes against humanity, and the treatment of prisoners of war were widely accepted following the conclusion of the Second World War. One said agreement, the Geneva Convention, prohibits the use of torture or other cruel and unusual punishments, as do dozens of other international and national laws, codes, and accords. However, as stated before, this has not stopped countries from continuing the use of enhanced interrogation as they see fit. Any sane person would agree that torture is morally wrong, but are there situations in which it can be justified? Absolutely. One such situation is that of a ticking time bomb scenario. I offered this question to several of my peers, all of which agreed that the use of torture would be justified in this particular situation. The scenario is this. Say that there's a terrorist with information regarding an imminent attack that will claim the lives of a great number of people. This terrorist has refused to give up the information needed to stop the attack, but would give it up if he were to be tortured. Should he be tortured? My peers, as well as myself, reason that yes, he should be. To us, it's really simple. The life of one man and the pain that he's going to endure does not outweigh the lives of the many that would be killed or injured during this attack. None of us relish or like the idea of somebody being tortured. It is not something that anybody wants to happen. However, in this situation, it is necessary whether one likes it or not. Many of the views opposing torture fall through with this question, as is it more justified to place the well-being of one over that of hundreds or even thousands? Why are the rights of the prisoner more important than the rights of the innocents? In this particular case, the ends do justify the means. There is a comparison to be drawn between the use of torture, that is, to prevent an attack or save lives, and self-defense. In the United States, 37 states make use of a standard ground law, with the rest employing duty to retreat laws. These laws provide legal protection for individuals who are attacked in their home and give them the right to exercise deadly force if they deem it necessary. These laws also give the right to use said force if under the threat of rape, kidnapping, serious bodily harm, and murder. Standard ground states also allow deadly force to be used against the threat of robbery and burglary. Many other countries, such as Canada, the UK, and Germany, have similar laws in place, with citizens permitted to use deadly force if deemed necessary to defend themselves. These laws are generally accepted by the public, with mild controversy over certain circumstances and individual cases of the use of self-defense. I ask, how is that different from the practice of torture when it's used to extract information that will protect the general public or prevent attacks from being carried out? Of course, both self-defense and torture are situational, and there will always be those who disagree with the use of either of them, but when applied in a way that focuses on the protection of others, there are many circumstances where the use of either is justified and they are better options than the alternative. Ultimately, the use of torture depends on the situation. Ethically and morally, the concept of torture is wrong. However, there are times in which one could call it the lesser of two evils. If one were to commit acts of torture without proper reason to do things like break morale or spirit, or if one derives pleasure from the despair of others, it's wrong without exception. Yet, if it is used to protect or save the lives of others, to prevent acts of terror, or for the protection of a group or individual, there are circumstances that the use is justified. Fundamentally, it comes down to both the point of view of the individual and how he or she weighs the consequences, and there will always be those who disagree with the use of enhanced interrogation. Nevertheless, when lives are on the line and time is of the essence, there is no way to justify the comfort of one over the survival of many.
Do you still think that torture is justified, even considering the technologies we have today, like lie detector tests and truth serums to extract information from people?
Yeah, I do, because like a lie detector test, there's no real weight behind if someone were to lie on it. If it's somebody's going to commit an act of terror, they don't really care if you catch them lying, because whatever they've got planned is still gonna happen. And so using that kind of thing does not in any way guarantee that you're going to get the information that you need.